everyone, Michelle Zenisek here, Run With It VA. Want to talk today about how to create a solid brand online. As if you follow me at all, you know that I talk a lot about branding and being consistent with your branding. And branding isn't just about aesthetics, it's your message as well. And so here's a few tips just to get your creative mind going about how to really create a solid brand. So the first thing is establishing your brand's mission and values. Um, I think this is very important. You want to um, document what your mission is for your business and your values. And I even have it on my website so that people who come to my website can see what I stand for with regards to my business, and what what I bring to the table, as far as integrity and consistency. So this is not, I think this is pretty important to not just have it in your mind, but to have it actually written down for others to see. And then it's also good to review that, when you start feeling down about yourself and feeling down about your business, you can go back and look at that and say, this is why I'm doing this. So anyway, I'm kind of a little off topic there, but your missions and values as a business, as a brand, is very important. The second tip is to create a strong social media presence. So your branding, as far as your missions and values and your colors and your fonts and your message, it's all going to tie into the content that you want to create and that you want to post on social media. And those people who your missions and values in your message resonates with, they are going to flock to you. It's obviously it's not just post and they will come, but there has to be some strategy involved and some effort involved in that. But it is it is important to create that strong social media presence. The third way to create a solid brand online is to use search engine optimization to increase web traffic. Now, there's a podcast I listen to. It's called the Marketing School Podcast, and it's hosted by Neil Patel and Eric Sue. And they are leaders in the search engine optimization world. And they will tell you that creating a brand is very important because that's what people search for. When people search for something to do with Nike, they're searching for Nike. They actually put in that as a search term. So this is why it's important to create that brand that stands out to people that you're trying to that is your target market. But you can listen to that podcast. They put out a podcast every day, 7 days a week. They're only like 5 to 10 minutes long. Some aren't even 5 minutes long, but they're really short episodes and they bring a lot of value to it. So that's a little plug for them that I'm not getting paid for. So, but it's that creating a brand is, as they will tell you, is very important when it comes to online visibility. Number 4 is to produce high quality content that engages your audience. So, there's just so many different things that you can post to engage with your audience. Questions are a great way to engage with them, and really thought-provoking questions that have to do with what the problem you solve for your audience. So that's that's an important thing, as far as asking questions and um, really understanding what your audience wants to know about what you can do for them. Remember, your content should be about your target audience, not about you. So the fifth way to create a solid brand online, excuse me, is to keep your branding consistent across all platforms. I say this a lot, that it's so important that you know, if you're posting on Instagram and Facebook, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to post on Instagram and have that post also post on Facebook. A lot of people do that because it's a time saver, but I don't necessarily agree with it, because there are things, you know, it's hashtags a big reason why, because hashtags aren't as relevant on Facebook as they are on Instagram. But so your Instagram post should be heavy on hashtags, and also you're using link in bio, you know, to for your call to action typically. And where in Facebook you can actually post the link, you don't have to put it in your bio. So I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but that's not necessarily the consistency I'm talking about as far as as far as posting across all different platforms. It's okay to post the same image that you would post on Facebook on Instagram, but the content, the caption is going to be different. And so that's what we have to remember. And even our stories, you know, we can post the same story that we would on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't necessarily agree with posting at the same time, but you know, if that's working for you, there's nothing wrong with it. But just make sure your message and your branding, as far as your colors and fonts and stuff like that, are consistent across all platforms. I hope that made sense, because I know I kind of went off a little topic there. So the last tip is, and this is very important, is you want to respond to comments and questions from customers promptly and politely. So whether that's on a social media post, if someone comments on a social media post, whether it's a customer or a follower, you want to make sure you're responding to those in a timely fashion. It says a lot to the algorithm, but it also is going to say a lot to the people who read those comments. But the same thing applies to when someone direct messages you with a question or a comment. You want to make sure you're responding to those in a timely fashion, which, you know, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I can tell you from experience, it's not as easy as it sounds. You know, I mean, think about how many ways people are contacting us: through email, through text, through social media. And it's a lot to try to keep up with all of it. So you want to make sure you have a system in place to make sure that you are responding to the comments and questions you get on social media promptly and politely. So that's it for today. Would love your feedback. Feel free to comment below with any tips that you have or any feedback you have on what I've shared here. And we'll talk to you soon.